feel like I'm constantly torn between like being the parent and being the relatable friend.
Are you going to be upset with me for days? What type of like reconciliation do I need to do?
Only we could heal all the mom's body
Yeah.
issues.
You kind of have to leave room to be surprised by how they might view you.
How to dress cute when it's hot and you are curvy.
It sounds
No, no,
toxic, but
no.
like, you know
No,
what
it's
I'm saying.
scary. Hi, welcome back. We're Not For Everyone, a podcast hosted by a hater, me, and a lover, Jess. That's my baby girl. It
Mhm.
is kind of almost summer, right?
Yeah. I mean, in technical terms, yes, almost. In the hearts of many, after Memorial Day is summer, right?
Oh, okay.
Pools are open.
When does the law say it's summer? Is that the summer
I think
solstice?
it's
No,
like
that's
June.
later.
It's like June 21st or something. I think that's the summer solstice, right?
But does the summer solstice mean the middle of summer or like cuz that's ridiculous. If June 21st is the
Oh,
beginning of summer, it's like dog, we've been doing this for like 2 months.
no, yeah, it's not the summer solstice. It's just the beginning. I think June 21st is the beginning of summer, and then the summer
That's
solstice
crazy.
is the longest day of the year because the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year. So
Okay,
that's how I
okay.
know that.
And today is none of those things.
And
Today
today's
is
none of
none
those
of
things,
those
but I look
things.
really tan in our current
You
setup.
too.
I don't think I'm actually this tan in real life. I think something about the lighting right now is doing this. So it's
Yeah.
summer.
I think I look more orangey than usual, which
You do.
I guess that's kind of a tan. Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. Speaking of summer, we asked a couple weeks ago for you guys to send us your summary what-to-dos. And somebody wrote in and said, summary what-to-do, how to dress cute when it's hot and you are curvy, so you don't want everything chafing everywhere, and also
Yes.
have a couple bits that you'd prefer to cover up.
Dude. Okay, before we
Dude,
started recording, Caroline was like, "Do you want to answer a what to do about how to dress in the summer?" And that's all she said. And I was like, "Yes, I have things to say about this." And immediately in my head, I my thoughts were chafing. My thoughts were, "I can't hide my boobs no matter how hard I try." And then
oh,
you read the DM and it's literally about my life story.
it's your thoughts. These are your thoughts.
It's
Okay,
my summary what to do.
give us your life story then. Give us your chafing boob summer story.
We 2 weeks in a row we're starting out with my boobs, which I'm comfortable
Yeah,
with.
that's true.
Yeah, okay, I don't know the answer really. I mean, I can tell you what I try to do, but I do think this is a topic that should be discussed more, which is just the fact that if you are a
Let's bring
person
awareness.
with a curvier body, more tit, more ass, more tummy, whatever you got, more thigh, um, it's like putting on clothing that on somebody else would be totally adorable, conservative, like not anything of note, can look totally different on your shape and can look like you're trying to draw attention to your bits
Oh, very
when
va
you're
va
really not
voom.
trying to. You're just trying to like live your life and it's hot outside and you want to wear a cute summer dress. But I can't help that the way that it fits my body is going to be like a little more voluptuous or a neckline that on somebody else is just a scoop neck on me is like making some sort of statement potentially just because
Yeah,
of my body, not because I want to make that statement.
that's so
So
frustrating.
it is so frustrating. I'm sure that everybody has something like that with a specific
Mm-hmm.
body type that they have. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's really hard. And there's so many cute things I want to wear in the summertime that I just don't feel comfortable wearing for that reason, let alone the chafing. But I have my solutions for that, which I'm happy to share. So anyway, yeah, I get it. To this person, I get it. I don't know. I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, well, totally. I'm just thinking about the like body specific things that I get in my head about because I'm worried about how it'll be interpreted when someone thinks I'm making a statement. It's kind of like for
Mm-hmm.
me, um, on the boob topic, I can say this isn't like a statement for me, but I actively note certain dresses that I'm like, this dress has such a different look if I had boobs, which I don't really.
Mm.
They're very small. And I have like this push up bra, or not even a push up bra, but just a supportive bra. I almost never wear supportive bras, but I got one that I liked. and I started wearing it under some of my dresses, and I'm like, "Oh my God, like there's some places I can't wear this dress now." And it's such a different look because it
Mm,
takes it from like what some people would have described as like innocent looking to womanly,
yes.
and it's so sad that that's sometimes not okay. Of course, we have all the opinions about that, but it's also just a fact that like you sometimes feel more aware that like, oh, my boobs are really here, or everyone's aware I have boobs now. For me, it's not boobs, it's
Mm-hmm.
like my butt. There are certain pants that I will only wear at home, or like if I feel like giving Justin a treat.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, but I won't wear in public because it's not worth the, I don't know, like attention or eyes or perceived judgments or voice in my head. Um, yeah, I think also, yeah, I talked about like showing my midriff and how people interpret that. And
Yeah.
it's kind of frustrating that, yeah, it just gets down to showing your skin. Showing your skin is still something somehow we're in our heads about.
Yeah. I think it's just a reality of this topic. Anytime we're talking about beauty or fashion, the things you wear, the way that you dress, or the way that your body looks, like we want, as much as I want to say that that is just about your relationship with yourself, unfortunately, the way the world is that people have eyes and people also have perceptions that they've
Yeah.
developed over time from
Fair
different
or unfair,
inputs.
it's
Right.
reality. Yeah.
Right. And so, like, I can feel comfortable in my body. I can know, like, I'm not trying to show too much skin and be provocative. I'm just trying to wear a summer dress and happen to have double D's. And like that's still not necessarily how it's received by others. And so no matter how pure my intentions and no matter my comfort level with the situation, that is unfortunately a factor. And I try really hard to just kind of wear what I want anyway. Actually, I think for a long time I like overcorrected and was really shy about like wearing a scoop neck shirt. I realized at some point a couple years ago that like everything in my closet was a crew neck. And have slowly put in an effort to buy more cleavage revealing tops because it's actually a part of my body that I like and that I
Yeah.
feel good in and want to
Right.
show in an appropriate, comfortable way. And I had overcorrected for so long of feeling like, well, I don't want people to get the wrong idea or the wrong message about who I am. And so I've kind of
It's
like
so
reversed that
relatable.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
with, I used to wear
Totally.
black a lot. I actually had this realization the other day. I was meeting a friend for lunch and it was rainy. And I just put on like black leggings and a black t-shirt and sneakers and a sweatshirt and went and met up with her. And it was the first time in a really long time that I had worn an all black outfit, but that used to be the only thing I wore. And it was actually a nice moment
Mm.
to be like, oh, over the last year, I've been wearing a lot more color, which was something that I was specifically trying to start doing. I think I was used to wearing so much black because I wanted to look slimmer and I wanted to just like kind of fade in with everyone else and not draw attention to my body. And then around the same time when I realized the crew neck thing, I realized like I like color. Why don't I ever wear it? Oh, it's because of these like notions I
Wow.
have about my body and how acceptable or not acceptable it is. Okay. And so I
Hmm.
actually had a weird moment this week where I was like, whoa, it kind of feels fun to wear all black again because this used to be my uniform and I haven't done it in so long because I have successfully branched out and like started wearing color again. But it is just a fact that whether you want it to or not, the eyes that are on you are going to influence what you wear and what you put on your body and how you present yourself and how much effort you do or don't put in and so on and so forth.
Yeah, totally. Because we continue to live in a society which is like interdependent and those things matter. Yeah, I find it like, of course, I get inspired hearing. I've been watching a lot of like fashion videos and stuff on YouTube recently because I actually just like an hour ago filmed a video um about like outfits and stuff, which I haven't really
Cute.
done before. And I ended up I was always scared to do that for so many, so many, so many reasons. Mostly like I'm not a fashion person, but I am a person who wears outfits and I think that's fun to talk about and just see a normal person doing it. So I ended up filming it just because I was like, I think this will be fun. Yeah. But I was watching a lot of these YouTube videos of that I find really inspiring of like fashion YouTubers being like, I just wear what I'm comfortable in. I just wear what feels fun. And I just wear whatever. And like, I do really appreciate hearing that. And it really does inspire me and affect me and put me in like a mindset I appreciate. But of course, also, it feels like unrealistic and fake to ignore the other aspect, which like both can exist, which is like wanting to exist in a society, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
just
just bringing back
existing in
to
a
a reality.
society, just whether you want to or
Yeah,
not, we do.
I do. Whether I want to or not, I'm in the society. I don't know if they accept me, but yeah, it's so funny because you look great in the bright colors. You were
Thank
wearing
you.
so many of them when we were in LA together, and it's funny. I didn't even realize you used to wear all black because
All
all
the
the
time.
colors seem so natural on you. But it also must be such a different experience to then go wear the all black outfit, not because you think that's what you have to relegate yourself to, but just because you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. So now when I wore it, I got to
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it of like, oh, it kind of feels cool and edgy on
Yeah.
this rainy day going to meet my friend for lunch in Chicago that I'm wearing all black. Like it became a fun thing as opposed to just my default because of, whatever discomforts I had. But yeah, in LA, there was a moment when we were at the pool and I was wearing a bright pink and orange and red uh cutout one piece bathing suit. And
Killer,
I love
killer
that
One
bathing
Piece.
suit and I
Somebody
feel
asked you about
good
it
in
at the
it.
pool.
Yes,
Somebody asked you about it at the
that's
pool.
what I
I
was going to
watched.
say.
They were
I've
like,
been
"Where'd you get that
thinking
suit?" Yeah.
about it since then for the last 3 weeks. I've been thinking
I
about this
just
person
figured that
asking me
I just
where I
figured
got
that
my
must
swimsuit.
happen to you all the time. I saw it happen and I was like, "Oh, Jess must get that all the time."
That's nice. I mean, it does, it's not like it never happens, but I think specifically wearing a bright swimsuit that showed my body and
Mm-hmm.
getting that was like very, very affirming and of like a positive kind of major moment for me because I I specifically decided to pack that swimsuit rather than packing like a more simple black one that didn't have the cutouts and just kind of like going straight laced and black with it. Which I think I did for a really long time. All of my swimwear was black like 4 years ago.
Mm,
And I
mm.
bought this bright one that shows more of my body recently. And it was a decision to bring that instead of the black to LA. And yeah, and then somebody complimented me on it and asked where I got it. And I was just like, oh, see, like that's the thing too about having eyes on you. Like the fact of the matter that we've been talking about that society views you,
Mm.
period. Um, you kind of have to leave room to be surprised by how they might view you, I think. It doesn't mean you're not going to receive negativity, but I also think like if you're just counting yourself out by just wearing the black and just washing yourself away, then you're not even giving yourself the opportunity to be surprised and get that like random compliment at the pool that you weren't expecting that boosted your self-confidence. And it's only when you start to get that like it has a ripple effect and
Mm.
you start doing that more. Now I'm going to be more apt to wear that swimsuit and buy bright colors and show my midriff and whatever else. Um,
But you
so
never
yeah,
get that positive reinforcement if you don't like take the leap in the first
if you don't
place.
try, if you don't try it. So it's like a very interesting thing that I think about all the time, honestly. And don't often
Did
put
you
words to. So it's nice to talk about it.
did you say you had a anti-chafing tip?
Yes, I have a couple. Uh, thick thighs unite. We both got them. Chafing is hard out here in the summer, and you want to
Mm-hmm.
wear a dress and your thighs are rubbing. First of all, I'd just like to say that I'm so happy that um thick thighs are a little more in now. And like there was this whole
Mm-hmm.
period of the thigh gap a few years back, and I'm just happy that you rarely hear about the thigh gap glorified anymore. Not to mean that there's any problem with that if that's naturally how your body is, but it just was like I thought I needed to make my body look that way, and it has literally never looked that way. Even when I was 10 and hadn't developed anything yet, my thighs were touching. And so, anyway, it's just nice that that's more
Yeah.
embraced now. But chafing. So I definitely always wear like stretchy boy shorts underneath dresses and skirts. It's just like
Yeah.
comfortable in case it flies up, and it can also help with chafing. Also, you could
Y-
buy ones that are more like
Yeah.
smoothing if you want some um what do you call it? Like what do you call it? Like skims? Uh
Yeah. Shapewear.
Shapewear? Yeah.
I think I feel brain dead right now. Yeah, shapewear. Somebody
I
I'm so down with the shorts underneath the skirt. I started wearing them in New York because like subway gusts from the subway
yeah.
would come up through the subway grates and like blow your skirt up, or just going up and down stairs for the subway all the time, people seeing up your skirt or whatever, which like, and some days I'm like, look, like who get, like I don't care, sorry you had
Right.
a great day, sorry I gave you a great day. But I was in when I was in New Orleans for a bachelorette a few weeks ago. I was walking around with Abby, I believe, our editor, and another friend, Molly, and there was some weird gust of wind in the middle of the street in New Orleans, and it blew my dress like up to my ears, and it was a literal like Marilyn Monroe moment. But it was not that, for so many reasons, particularly because it was like the dress covered my face and I was just
Oh
completely
my
bare
God.
beneath. I had underwear on,
You
but
weren't wearing the
it
shorts?
I wasn't wearing the shorts, and I was like frantically trying to get my
Oh my
dress
God.
down, and it was just like a full sight to everybody.
Wow. That
Yeah.
happened to me once on what was called the Breezeway, which was like this
No, no.
very like
Oh,
busy walkway on campus at college. And it happened to me there. And of
no.
course,
That's
it's called the
hilarious.
breezeway because wind would get trapped in this like
Yeah.
stairwell area outdoors. Yeah, and my skirt blew up, and I was wearing like underwear that had burgers all over it. It was like laundry day. And that was the only underwear that I had that morning.
That's the
So
best detail. That's the best
yeah,
detail.
I
Oh,
still
that's
remember it.
awesome.
People got a show. That sucked because that's at college. So anyway, shorts are great
Yeah,
underneath
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Um, but then I also there's two products that I would recommend for chafing. One is, and this has been like an internet hack for a while, the Monistat gel that is actually for like I don't know, it's for something else. It's for like vaginal health or something. But
I was
you
gonna
can
say,
just
isn't Monistat? Yeah, okay.
yeah, it's like a brand for let me like get this right. Hold on. Monistat. If you just Google honestly Monistat for chafing, you'll find it because this is not a hot take. It's actually for chafing, whatever. Monistat Care Chafing Relief Powder Gel Anti-Chafe Protection. It's a gel, but when you apply it, it feels kind of powdery and it's pretty good and it'll protect from chafing. And the other thing I use is the Mega Babe. That's a like skincare brand. I really like their stuff. Um, they have these things that look like a deodorant stick, and it's like a anti-chafe stick, and you just rub it on the insides of your
Oh,
thighs,
sweet.
and it really
Nice.
does last really long. And then they also make it in a travel size that is so tiny and fits in your purse, and so you can even like reapply it throughout the day. That one's easier to apply than the Monistat. So yeah, I've mastered chafing. I'm wearing dresses, I'm wearing color, I'm showing my
Yeah.
tits.
Show
It's
them.
2024.
You keep talking about showing your tits, and yet I haven't seen them the correct amount that I would like to see on this podcast. Well, we'll have a private
On this
viewing.
podcast specifically on
On this
camera.
specifically on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Love that.
I hid them for so long. Even my mom was like, show off your body more. And when your mom is telling you that,
Oh,
that's
who
when
said that? Your mom said that when?
I don't know, she said it before. She's like she has an
That's
attitude of like
great.
show
That
off what
what?
your mama gave you. Show off what I gave you because she
Oh my
also
God.
is a
What an
chesty woman.
amazing thing to hear from your mom.
I
I
know.
fucking love that. I promise you I've never heard that from my mom.
Oh, my mom
That's
wants me to be a hoe,
awesome.
100% in
Yeah.
her own way. So, yeah,
My
just do it.
mom will do the thing where she's like, "You really shouldn't wear leggings in public. Like, you should really cover your butt." Sorry, I'm
Oh,
sorry to drag my mom a little bit, but you know, maybe she's like, "People don't wear leggings in public," and my sister and I will be like, "People only wear
everyone.
leggings. It is the only thing anyone wears."
Have
And I
you looked
know,
around?
yeah. Have you been in the world? And I, what small pain like little, you know, little twinge of hurt I feel is that I know she wouldn't make those comments if I had like a much flatter butt. Like
Mm.
it's the fact that my butt, like having a butt and having it in any way visible is like scary to her. PS it's her butt. I That's where I got the butt. But so I guess like sometimes it makes me feel like she won't say, you know, because you have a bigger butt, but I know that's why she's saying it.
Yeah.
And I have sympathy for it. I get it. But sometimes I just want to be like, "Oh mom, if only we could heal all the mom's body
Yeah.
issues so that they don't have to put them on us."
Yeah. I mean, in the same breath, when I say that my mom has encouraged me to show off my body more, which she has, and I think it's awesome, and I give her credit for like wanting me to be confident in my skin and stuff, she
Mhm.
also has contributed. She's like the sole contributor to my body
Totally. It's
image
moms. Mostly
insecurities.
moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, she's also done her fair share of things that like she didn't realize were damaging, but were quite
I
damaging in
know.
terms of my relationship with my body and my size and my weight. And it's an ongoing conversation, honestly. Like she has a hard time knowing what the lines are there because she thinks she's coming from a good place of just wanting me to be happy and healthy. And it's very much a yeah, a thing that we have to navigate. So in one breath,
Yeah.
she's like, show off those titties. And in another breath, she's like, have you gained weight recently? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's moms. It's moms.
It's moms. I was going to say it's moms. I do think about that a lot. Like, um, even if you're not like giving kind of that negative commentary to your kid, one thing I'm trying to keep in mind more, even for the day that I do have kids, is just like how I talk about myself. If you're somebody who, if you're always talking about how you need to go on a diet or you need to lose weight or you look so bad in this, like it's not a comment to them, but it's internalized the same way.
Yeah.
Um,
You're teaching
and
them,
it's something.
modeling for them.
Totally. Telling them what is right, what is expected according to you. And I think about it a lot with YouTube. And it's a funny thing with YouTube because in one hand I think of like YouTube as like my babies and I want to set a good example for them, but on the other hand, not the other hand, but at the same time I want to be honest. And so
Yeah.
I particularly with body talk, I struggle a lot with like sometimes my impulse is to be like I've always, you know, felt not that fond of my ankles. And like this is
Hmm.
something I feel weird about and I'm like trying to wear more ankle socks now, but I didn't used to like how they cut my ankles off or whatever. And that's like the honest, relatable, just inner monologue I want to share. But then there's part of me who thinks of someone watching that video and looks at my ankles and likes my ankles better than their own. And then they're going to take that and be like, oh, well, if she doesn't like her ankles, then I shouldn't like mine. And so that's like the parenting part of me that wants to like just set a like good example for them. And I feel like I'm constantly torn between like being the parent and being the relatable friend.
Yeah.
And I think bodies is one in particular that feels really tricky. And I don't actually think like if I'm talking to myself compassionately, I would say I don't actually think there's a wrong way to do it. And I think it's
Yeah.
probably a mix of both, but I get caught in my head a lot about that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I think we've talked about this in the past, but not even necessarily about body image. It's just a very difficult balance to strike between wanting to be a good role model, I guess, and wanting to
Yeah.
be honest. And people now more and more want their role models to be honest. And so it's
I
like, okay, great.
know.
Well, then if I'm being honest, I'm not the best role model in some ways. I have these insecurities. I have these things that I work on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that you do a great job of both. I think that we try to do that on the podcast, but it is really hard. There's definitely things we just don't even cover because we don't know how to do
Totally.
both, or you need time. Like I remember when I was doing my old podcast, Peaking, I had this idea to have a book club around this book. And maybe I've talked about this before on Not For Everyone, I'm not sure. But I wanted to do this book club on this book called Body Talk, which is all about body image and body acceptance and whatever. And I set it
Mm-hmm.
up and I recorded with a group of listeners and we talked about the book. And it was honestly really great, really healing, really affirming, like good conversation. And I was going to edit it into an episode. And then something happened between the recording and the book club meeting and like me actually wanting to release it, where I was like, this doesn't feel good anymore. It doesn't feel true because I'm now finding myself in a period where I'm really unhappy with my body. And in that book club recording, so much of what I was talking about was
Yeah.
accepting my body and
Yeah.
how can I put out this content if that's like not where I'm at currently. And since then, it's been a
Yeah.
couple years now. Like, guess what? That pendulum has swung back and forth thousands of times in these 2 years. Like, I am having a day when I feel good about my body, and I'm having a day when I'm not feeling good. And that's pretty much life. And so, um, I don't know. I think it's really hard to talk about because I think it's really hard to talk about. And I try to think about who has been the most impactful role model or like content creator or whoever for me in
Mm.
this realm and how have they handled it. um yeah, and I don't know, there's not an easy answer, but I just try to
Yeah.
I guess that's where I would go next is like, okay, well, who have I seen do this in a way that I like or that has helped me, and maybe I
Yeah.
would try to do it the way that they do it. Okay, I have like a relationship realization of late.
Ah. Uh-huh.
So I don't know if this is, speaking of being a good role model, I don't even know if this is like, I'm about to expose myself as not
Nice.
all I'm cracked up to be.
For what it's worth, I think that's what a good role model should be. It's
That's
someone
what
who's
I think.
comfortable being human and honest. So just say what's true.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
true is that I am the
Yeah, what?
is that I am um I'm a difficult lady sometimes. I'm a difficult lady and I have just like I have my stuff that I have hangups about. I have my stuff that I get critical about. Um I'm I can be very emotional. My emotions change by the hour.
Which
That's
shouldn't be a
fine.
negative thing. Shouldn't be a negative thing. Shouldn't be a negative
Correct.
thing.
Isn't a negative thing,
Yeah.
but can be difficult to navigate for me and for
Okay.
those around
Okay.
me.
Okay.
And my
Fair.
boyfriend Ryan does an amazing job of like reassuring me that that's not a negative thing and riding the waves with me. And he just tends to be a much like steadier person. Like he is more of a straight line and I'm like the sine, cosine, whatever it is, like bouncing around his straight line. And um, that's fine. And that's worked for us for our whole relationship. And it is what it is. But then what I realized is when he brings up a problem between us, because he doesn't do it very often, and I'm the one who's
Mm.
constantly like, this happened. What's that mean? Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, this happened. What? I'm hurt. Okay, thank you for
Okay.
apologizing.
Never
Like
mind.
I I'm the one doing that more often than not. And he's the one responding. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't bring up things that he needs to express. Like I try to make it, we both try to hear each other. But he's just easier going. I don't know. And so when he brings something up, it feels like the end of the world. It's
Totally.
like shit. I fucked up. Like usually I'm the nitpicky asshole who's emotional and
Mm.
asking for more or less or this or that. And then when he does it, which is extremely normal and needed and important, um, it like it can really send me into the deep end because I'm like, oh, he like I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. It sounds
Yeah, yeah.
toxic. It sounds
No, no,
toxic, but
no.
like you know
No,
what
it's
I'm saying.
scary. No, I know. Totally. It is scary. Yeah. I guess what I the comfort I take from that, because Justin's pretty similar. Um, where if he brings something up at all, it like kind of freaks me out for a moment. But the flip side is that it is actually moments of seeing of hearing him say like, I'm mad right now. I'm actually mad. Terrifying in the moment for like a half second. And, he's not yelling it. He literally says it like that. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
mad. Um, Very reasonable way to do so. But it actually has given me so much comfort about all the other moments where he's not saying something, because it's like I can really trust. I've learned to trust that he will tell me when he's mad. I will
Yeah.
know. It's not going to be passive aggressive. It's not going to be buried. If he's not upset about something and he's not saying something, then he's truly not upset. And when something's happening, I'll hear about it. So that's been kind of like, I think it's made me relate really differently to the moments where he doesn't have a problem as a kind of anxious person. And I'm like, is something wrong? Are you not telling me? Are you da da da? Are you gonna brew about this and like it's gonna blow up later? I might
Right.
hear about this in 2 weeks. It's been helpful to know like, nope, he's comfortable telling me when something's actually bothering him, and it's just things don't bother him that much.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'm trying to get. Like that is basically the conversation that Ryan and I had last week when he expressed
Yeah.
something and we talked about it. It was hard for both of us and it was upsetting. And we talked about it and moved, to the other side of it, went to
Yeah.
sleep, had another day, but I was still carrying it with me for the next couple of days and
Mm-hmm.
um I felt like maybe we hadn't fully resolved it. Like we talked about it and I heard him and apologized for what I needed to apologize for and all these things, but I just felt like unresolved. And so a couple days later, I brought it back up to basically trying to be like, is this resolved? Because I don't feel resolved. But if you tell me it's resolved, then like I will be resolved. Like I'm worried that
Yeah.
you're still harboring something about this and maybe you have more to express that you
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to the other day. And that's been
I
weighing on
relate to
me. And
that.
so I
I
want
totally relate
to
to
make
that.
sure. And, he was basically like, I'm fine. I've been fine. I thought that we talked about it and got through it. Like now what my concern is that you're still thinking about it. And then it becomes this like self-fulfilling prophecy of like, are you still mad? No, no, I wasn't, but now I kind of am annoyed and like um we basically ended with this realization that you just shared that I need to trust that if it's still on his mind, he'll bring it up to me. He
Mm-hmm.
brought it up to me the first time. If he still feels unresolved, he'll bring it back up again. I guess from my perspective, I'm kind of like, I feel responsible once he's expressed that I've done something that made him feel a certain way. It feels like my responsibility. And so, even though I trust that he would tell me if there's more to talk about, I also feel like I'm the one that did that. I'm the one that messed up. And so I need to like make sure I've heard him, make sure I've given him the space. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like it's just a control thing and it's honestly to make myself feel better when really it should be about him when it's something he's brought up.
I get
Um
it. I think it's an anxiety thing. Like if you relate to it the way that I do, you tell me if this like resonates with you, but it's like partially anxiety and it's partially having been a person who wasn't always a good direct communicator. I'm a lot more direct now. And it's also having been with people who would brew on something for months and say nothing was wrong, and then
yeah.
all of a sudden something was wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole level of trust that you have to like build with somebody. But I think for me, the biggest aspect is actually how I personally relate to having done something quote wrong or having hurt someone.
Yeah.
Like I think it's almost like a perfectionist mentality. I have such a mentality that the only way it can be good to be my partner is if I've never done anything wrong. But it's not a standard you hold anyone else to. And so when I hear inevitably, like we hurt each other, like that's what people do sometimes. And when I hear that I've hurt someone, like I take it so hard, so catastrophically. I like do this whole like self abusing thing. And it's actually, yeah, it gets harder for me to move on.
Yeah.
And I think it's really my relationship to like having things to learn from, to my relationship to making mistakes. And it's at least helped me a lot to see actually in Justin how he responds when I tell him that he's hurt me in some way. You know, even without trying. And that's usually how I don't think either of us have
Yeah.
hurt us each other intentionally. But like I also respect not only how he tells me when he's hurt, but also how he responds. It's like set a good example for me where he takes it very seriously. He wants to understand everything about it because presumably there's aspects to it he didn't understand or never thought of. He wants to understand it really thoroughly. He like wants to solidify how we can move through an instance like that differently in the future. And he apologizes if an apology is necessary. He says like what his intention was, if the intention was misunderstood and how there was a misfire, and then he moves the fuck on.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not like staying up at night, as far as I can tell, beating himself up over it, especially when it's unintentional. Like he is not groveling. He is not like checking in all the time to be like, are you still mad? Are you still blah? Because the thing is like, I still am responsible for my own feelings. I still am responsible for dealing with my own hurt and dealing with my own pain and communicating things if I want to, but he actually still doesn't own those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing how like sometimes those moments in the reverse, um, when I have hurt him, they still feel really like weird and difficult. And I try to literally like visualize the moments where he's hurt me and how he's responded. If you have someone in your life that does it in a way you respect, it sounds like Ryan probably does, to
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, kind of get in touch with how they, I don't know, just like, I think it's easier with somebody else if you think about somebody else. Cause I
Yeah.
think if you're someone who can be like unfair to yourself and like you're never allowed to make a mistake, you're never allowed to be a person who hurts anyone, but guess all humans hurt each other sometimes. Like it's easier to think for me to think of it in third person. Like, well, how does this person I respect deal with learning that they've hurt somebody? And
Yeah.
then even just trying to kind of like mirror that until it feels more natural and feels more safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm on that path. I definitely agree with everything you said. Like everything you said resonates with me. I think that's exactly what happens in me. It's anxiety, and it's some of that anxiety is informed by previous experiences, past relationships, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other piece of it is um being so hard on myself about making a mistake that hurts somebody. Like
Yeah.
totally what you
Yeah.
said, I am not allowed to hurt somebody, which is unreasonable,
You
impossible,
will.
not
Everybody
something that I
will.
can control because I'm not
Yeah.
trying to hurt anybody, but that doesn't mean that I don't. And that's definitely something I've learned recently, that I didn't realize that I had like such a complicated relationship with the idea that I could hurt somebody. um because it seems like obvious, but I'm really hard on myself when those types of mistakes happen. And it has been helpful. What's been helpful for me is like reminding myself, okay, when I let Ryan know that he's hurt me, he handles it in this way. And what's been the most helpful is seeing that, like, and he comes back. We don't break up.
Yeah.
Because in
It
the
takes
past,
time to trust that.
yeah, my
Yeah.
anxiety has taught me that, like, if I mess up, they're not going to tell me that that happened in real time. And then months later, I'm going to hear about it. And then it's going to contribute
Yep.
to a breakup. And so
Uh-huh.
I have finally, like, trained myself out of that type of thinking, because Ryan has demonstrated time and time again that that's not how he handles these situations, and that we can get through them together, and that he knows um, that, like, he's going to hurt me and I'm going to hurt him. And it doesn't mean it's the end every time. And so that part I've wrapped my head around. I think the part that is harder is like, okay, fine. I know we're not going to break up over this, but like, are you going to be upset with me for days? What type of like reconciliation do I need to do? Like, how can I smooth this over and fix
But
it?
that's also not your responsibility to figure out. If he needs something from you, like
Right.
he's going to have to
He has
tell
to tell
you.
me. I know.
The
And
thing
that's
that
what he
I
said. but it's
I was
like
literally, yeah,
I have a compulsion. I'm like, hey, are we good? Hey, what do we need?
I
I
know.
need I
I
need so much
know. I do the
reassurance
same. I
after
do the same.
this.
I
Yeah.
do. I don't, and I also don't think it's horrible to need reassurance.
Yeah.
Um, there, like it does something for you, but no, I do the same thing. And I literally this week in therapy, I was talking with my therapist. She was just like, I mean, I mentioned this before on the podcast, like letting people own their negative feelings. Like my
Hmm.
boyfriend, like he is allowed to feel weird for a few days.
Yeah.
Ryan is allowed to feel down or depressed or disconnected or out of sync or less talkative. Like that's okay. And you don't have to shake him out of it. Like
Hmm.
you just let them move through it. It's not your job. Um, if he needs something from you, like he can communicate that, but really they probably just need to like have the space to be in it. And that's so hard for me, but I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
And I realized recently that a big I almost want to say like trigger, like a big like activation point for me, not trigger,
Hmm.
but like yeah, it freaks me out is any moment where I feel a little disconnected with my
Hmm.
partner. And I actually thought literally until a few weeks ago I changed my mind about this where I guess I thought like if we are ever disconnected, if we're ever a little out of sync, that is bad. That means something is wrong with the relationship. We need to fix it. And I don't know why I had this shift recently of just being like, sometimes you're disconnected. Like sometimes you're just disconnected. And it's really scary, but like I have that with my girlfriends. Like sometimes with a
Yeah.
best friend, you have a lunch or you have a dinner and you're like, I didn't really get anything from that. Like I didn't feel connected, like we weren't on our thing, but two dinners later, you're back at it. It's like sometimes you're just disconnected. And there's no reason that the ebbs and flows really should be different in a romantic relationship. But I think I really not only did it freak me out, but I used to think, oh, this is a problem. This is a
Hmm.
sign of a problem of something we have to fix. Whereas I think like reality is just like that ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be an amazing feat to be connected, closely connected and in sync with your partner
Right.
100% of the time.
I
Never
know.
heard
When
of
you say
it.
it that way, it sounds insane.
Right? When you
Yeah.
say it that way, you're like, "Oh, obviously that would never happen." But I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's funny. Okay, just also going off of what you just said, remember a couple weeks ago we talked about how both of our boyfriends are very specific about their word choice and like different things. Like they'll say something and we think we know what they mean by that, or we say something and we think it's obvious what we mean,
Well, they
and
say
they need
something and
definitions.
right, right. Well, they say something or we say something and any like normal like person of the human species would get it, but they're a different
Their brains are
race,
different.
I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not of this earth.
A black man and a white man share a race, and it is
And
this
it's
type,
not
this man.
human. It's not
Yeah.
fucking human.
So, so speaking of being disconnected, you were kind of interchangeably using the terms being disconnected and being out of sync. And I learned from Ryan this week that those are two different things amongst his race.
Man,
And
Ryan
so
is our therapist amongst his race.
So he shared with me that disconnected for him is like emotionally disconnected, like it's almost on a
Okay.
deeper level. And out of sync is more like our moods and the way that we're showing up and presenting are not lining up. So, like, I'm
Okay,
feeling
sure,
high
sure,
energy and jokey, and he's feeling tired and stressed or something.
sure.
So, those
Reasonable.
are for what it's worth, I'm now operating under that terminology to keep my to keep my relationship afloat. And
That is
and
totally
I
some
would say
shit
that this
Justin would tell
week
me. Oh my God.
Ryan
Oh
believes
my
that this
God.
week we were not disconnected, but we were out of sync. And so that's just something that will pass, I guess.
Let's start a podcast called Ryan Believes, and it'll just be things that he's telling us about the way the world is that are true, but alien to me.
Right.
Ryan
They're true and
believes. Ryan believes.
simultaneously incredibly inconvenient to the way that I operate.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Yeah.
Right. So tired.
Right. Why? Why is it this way?
I don't know.
Why isn't it all just telepathic? Actually, I don't really want anyone to know my thoughts. I don't think that's good for us either.
No, those need to be. That's like,
Private.
when you're a kid and it's such a common question that you get asked or that I don't know, like teachers use as a
What's
fun
your
fact thing in
superpower?
school. Yeah.
What's a
And like,
superpower?
obviously, what I wanted was to read minds, but I didn't want anyone else to be able to read minds, like 40% of the class would be like
You're a
mind reading.
pervert.
And I'd be like, no, Caroline, mind reading is mine. Like, you can't read my mind. I just have to read
Oh,
yours.
I do not want to read anyone's mind. I've learned as soon as I got YouTube
You
comments.
got
YouTube
older.
comments is basically being able to read the minds of if you could like hear every passing thought and judgment of any stranger on the street, it's just the YouTube comments. Like, no, I don't want to hear people's thoughts. I
Yeah,
don't want to know what people think
truly.
about me. I don't want to know.
No, not anymore. When I was younger, I
No.
desperately wanted to, but now I'm like, it is a freedom that I don't have to. I'm not even interested. I'm not asking. I'm not
Yeah. So
asking.
the correct answer is flying, obviously.
Yeah. No, I would say it's
Yeah.
teleportation. I would rather, because I'm lazy,
Mm.
I don't want to like fly around and have to spend 30 minutes getting to New York. I want to just teleport there when I want to hang out with my friend
Okay.
Angela.
That is compelling. I guess I'm thinking of flying not so much as like a means of commuting, but just like
Transportation.
seems fun.
Oh,
Seems fun.
just to enjoy the clouds.
Yeah, I think I would still if I had to choose between them, I would still take flying cuz teleporting is like, okay, I'm there now. But there's like
Yeah.
no special experience.
Oh, but I imagine there's like some sort of like, like
Some sort of like boosh.
some sort of like,
Doosh.
dun.
Boom, bam, 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 bam,
I can't
bam,
stop
bam,
thinking
bam,
about your
bam.
songs. They get stuck in my head at random
He's
hours,
a
and
money.
it's
Doosh,
very
doosh,
distracting.
doosh, doosh. Wait, I did want to read when we talked about the songs we write as professional songwriters.
Oh yeah, did
Somebody
we get
wrote a
some?
really, yes, we got some really, really funny ones on you as YouTube comments. Hold on, I'm gonna pull them up. Somebody wrote, because I asked people to comment the songs they write, like especially in like their with a best friend or like their girlfriend or boyfriend that's just like it cannot be explained and refuse to explain.
Yeah.
So this person wrote, my husband and I have a song. Look at that cat, in parentheses, points at one of the cats. Look at that cat, in parentheses, points at one of the other cats. Look at that cat, in parentheses, points at something that isn't a cat. And then the other
Ooh.
person says, that's not a cat. And the song continues. And I don't know what the melody, I can't know what the melody of this song is, but I loved it so much. Look at that
Wow.
cat. Oh, look at that cat. Oh, look at that cat. Oh, that's not a cat. That's not a cat. Oh, look at that cat. Is the melody that I ascribed to
Wait,
it. I thought that was
so
great.
I do have follow-up questions for this person. Love it. Want to know, do they have
A
a
cat?
cat, two cats, more than two cats? Like,
Yeah,
are they
she
just in
says
their
point out one of
house?
the cats, one of the cats, so multiple cats
One of the
specifically.
cats. Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to know, like, at what point does the song stop because there's no more actual cats to point to? Because there have to be per verse of the song, there have
Ah,
to be two
Jessica,
real
Jessica,
cats.
Jessica. Yeah, I think there are two real cats. I guess I assumed that they feel free like cycling through, recycling the cats for
Going
musical
back to the same
purposes.
cat. Okay.
Same cat. I think sometimes it's the same cat.
This is not a criticism. It's just I want to be in it with them. And so
Okay, no,
I have
it's
to put
I'm if
myself in it.
I'm
Yeah.
no, that was a good question. That was a good follow-up question. Are
Let
you
me see if
recycling your
I,
cats or are you adopting a new cat every time you need a new verse?
yeah, every time you adopt a new cat. Ooh, wait, no, never mind. Give me a
I'm
sec.
sweating a lot, dog. I'm sweating in weird places.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my natural deodorant
Oh
hasn't been
God.
working, but now that we've called it summer, it's especially not working.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Where's another song? What is your full? Okay, here's one. So this person said, Jess, what is your full genius couple lineup? Ours is Wordle, Connections, Strands, and then if we are feeling particularly brain saucy, then Squaredle. I've not heard of
Squirrd.
that. Squardle.
Okay. Squirrd.
We play Wordle, Connections, and the mini crossword. That's ours. Okay, then this person said, also, our made up couple story is we are retired undercover Russian spies building a new life. Everyone in our lives, including our dog, has a code name. Neither of us is Russian. I just really enjoyed that. Yeah, Russia, Papua New
No,
Guinea.
that's correct. That
Oh,
person gets it. What?
I have to
You just
report
really you
on
clutched
something.
your boob gems so hard right
Yeah,
now.
I did.
What do you have
I
to report on?
clutched my beach stones.
My
Um,
baby. What do you have to report on?
I have to report on Papua New Guinea. Give me a sec. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
Where is it? So
What?
I need to get it right. So a couple episodes ago, I talked about how Ryan and I do a bit where I'm a masseuse and he's the mayor of the country, Papua New Guinea, and we're
Mm-hmm.
like just running the government there. And literally that same week, there was something in the news. Oh, yes, there was a landslide in Papua New Guinea, and it's like devastated the people. And it was literally like a day or two after I brought them up on the podcast, and that
Oh
really shook me.
my God. And
So
you
I'd
weren't
just like to
even
say,
there
I
to
am
lead
sorry
them
that I
through
wasn't
that.
there to massage them.
Well, maybe they have a resident masseuse who's leading them through this national
Do you think?
tragedy. I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. Am I allowed to ask this question?
Who's to say? I'm
Who's
not
to
in charge
say?
here. I'm busy with Papua New Guinea. Go on.
So Poppy is Papua New Guinea a country? I don't know.
It's a country. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I don't know. I didn't know that. I'm sorry I didn't know something.
Oh, that was your question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. It's a country, which is why it's funny that there's a mayor, according to me and Ryan's storyline, because
But
mayors are for
the masseuse
cities.
part, yeah. Well, mayors are for
Backtrack.
cities
Masseuse,
and
every country
masseuses are for
has a
countries.
has a masseuse that's, taking over when things get complicated. Yeah.
Hessica.
Oh my gosh, a lot of my friends call me Hessica and also call me Hess.
Oh, I don't like Hess that much. That sounds like a horse.
Yeah, look at that horse.
Look at that horse. I don't know if I can go that much longer.
Really?
I'm
I
serious.
was just starting to have a good time.
I really need you to carry me. I made such a
Okay.
mistake taking
This is what happened,
mushrooms.
everybody.
I
Let me
made
fill
such a
people in.
mistake.
Honestly,
What?
Abby, I don't think you should cut any of this.
Okay.
This is what's happening is that
What is
Caroline,
happening? You
I
tell
showed up to
me.
recording today and I said to Caroline, I don't think I can lead today. I'm really stressed at work and I need you to lead. And she was like, "Oh," and I could kind of see on her face like this is news. And she's like, "Okay, we'll do our best." And I was like, "Cool, she has me." And now we're about 50 minutes in and she's letting me know she can, she was never able to do the carrying and she needs me to take over. Luckily, I'm feeling great
Jessica.
now. Luckily, I'm feeling great.
Jessica. Okay.
Yeah, sweetie.
I made a mistake. I made a mistake. So the mistake that I made, yeah, I
Okay.
like the we'll figure it out was me taking no responsibility for the thing you asked me to take responsibility for. But this is what happened. A couple of weeks ago, I did a little bit of mushrooms with my
Oh,
my people and I had such a I don't do this a lot at all, but I had such a creative like refresh that I was like, "Oh my God, I should try like microdosing when I film a video or something." And so I took some like mushroom gummies a few hours ago and it was not a microdose. And then I had to film my whole video on it. And what I have learned is while I do have like a huge create and I'm still on them. Like this is so hard. And like it while it does it I do think it's really legitimate for like creative breakthroughs. I cannot perform at the same time. To be exporting,
okay.
to be like it's not a state to be like sharing my creative breakthroughs. I think I needed to like microdose. First of all, I didn't microdose. It was too much, and then I had to get up there and perform. I just filmed this like every outfit I wear in a week or something video, and it's I could like barely talk the whole time. It wasn't going that hard. I wasn't going that hard. It was just like I wanted to sit and be quiet and reflect and absorb and witness and observe. But instead, I had to get up there and fucking talk. And now I'm talking more. and
You
it's
are.
hard.
Let me tell you something. You're doing so great. You
You're doing
shared
great,
some
sweetie.
real wisdom about relationship stuff. And
I
I
know I'm
actually
so
forgot for
tired.
this whole time that you told me before this that you had microdosed mushroom gummies. Um, so it really wasn't noticeable until right now. Let me give you
I
one more topic
know.
and then we can call it a day.
Okay, yeah, it's not like I'm not tripping or anything. It's just like
You're just like, it's a
I'm
lot.
just feeling a lot. Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to give
And
you
I'm
a topic that
tired.
makes you feel more or feel less? What would
I don't
be
know. Let's just
ideal?
try it. Just try it something and I'll feel free to leave, I guess, if I don't want to.
Okay, give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Okay, I'm gonna refuse any topic if I feel like it. So just try some.
Okay. Maybe this would be a good time to give you some hot takes to
Yes.
rapid fire. Or is this our time for
Sure.
rapid fire? Okay.
Yeah, rapid fire. Yeah,
Okay, I
done. I
always collect hot takes that we get in our DMs. So if you ever want to send us requests, like topics to give hot takes on, just send that to us. And I have a running list and we'll come to them whenever Caroline's on mushrooms. So here we go. Teenagers in public. Hot take.
No, no, I've already talked about this. Obviously, no. They got that from me. That's not even a hot take. They know what my opinion is because I've already talked about this on the pod. Middle schoolers and
Oh, I forgot.
teenagers should be shut away until they're ready to be people. No, we shouldn't have to look at them. No,
Yeah, you have said
obviously.
that. Thank you.
That's
Okay, good.
mine. That's mine. You got that from me.
Okay. um, hold on. My phone froze. Oh my God.
That's horrible for us right
Okay.
now.
Asking people you just met what they do.
Yeah, I'm guilty. Meh. I try to say instead, I mean, it sucks. It's horrible. It's a horrible culture. It's American culture. Instead, if I do, sometimes I do actually fucking, I don't have anything to say to you and I don't know anything about you. And I'm not allowed to comment on your clothes or something because whatever. And so if I do want to know about their job, I'll say, what do you do for work? As opposed to like, what do you
Okay.
do? Like that defines you as a person. I try, like, I don't know why.
I
That's
like
a,
that.
like a, it's a language shift that feels helpful to me. It's like, I'm not just evaluating you based on your job, but also what do you do to put bread on the table?
Yeah, definitely. Get that bread. Get that bread, get that head, then leave. Do you
Get
remember
that
that from
head?
TikTok? Yeah, that's like a TikTok
No.
sound that was popular during the pandemic. And
Get that
your
bread, get
girl
that
was
head.
recording the dance videos. Yep. Get
Oh,
that bread, get that head, then leave. Bitch, then leave. It was really fun. It was 2020. It was a good time.
you were
Okay,
doing good things
next.
during the pandemic.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. I was finding myself.
Next.
Um, visors, as in the hat.
Ugh, they
I think you
exist.
I feel like you would wear one. I'm gonna be honest. And you'd make it look cute.
Fuck you. You think I would wear one?
Yeah, I do. I think it would be cute.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like you like a tennis look, and I feel like visors are very tennis. No?
I don't, they are very tennis, I feel like, but I don't like that part of tennis.
Okay.
That's the
This
only
is
way
going
I can
great.
explain it.
Next. Um, the naming power couple.
Stupid, obviously. Next.
Thick. Cuddle therapy. Have you heard of that?
Puddle therapy. Puddle
Cuddle.
therapy.
Cuddle therapy.
What
Did
is
you think
puddle
I said
therapy?
puddle?
I thought you said puddle therapy.
Do you know what cuddle therapy is?
No. Do you just cuddle and then you feel good?
Yeah, it's like you hire a cuddle therapist to come to
Oh
your house and
no,
like cuddle with you.
no, no,
And it's supposed
no,
to reduce stress. Cortisol is trending on Instagram, your
no,
stress
no. Listen,
hormone.
no, listen, listen. Cuddling definitely is therapy and you should do it. But to prostitute out cuddling, I don't trust that person. I do not trust that person. I don't trust that
Yeah,
person.
it is like, how did you get into this line of work? Speaking of, what do you do? Why
Yeah,
is this how you put bread on the table?
yeah,
Really?
like cuddle people for money. I cuddle people for money. The
Although
fuck?
that sounds like,
Get a dog.
shoot,
Get a dog.
get a
What?
dog.
Get a
I was about
dog.
to say that sounds really nice. And then I was like, no, Jess, no, don't be one
No,
of
I mean,
them.
no, it
I
could be
love
nice. I'm
cuddling.
sure I'm sure it is nice, but I don't like the Johns of cuddling.
Johns?
Yeah, like a pimp and a John and a hoe.
Oh, is that like
Like they're
Philly
the John?
slang?
Oh, no. Well, I thought a John is someone who commissions a hoe.
Oh, it might be. I just don't
Yeah,
know the
so in this
terms.
case,
Okay.
I would be the John. I would be the John if I hire a cuddle therapist.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay,
I
okay.
basically I think it should be legalized, but I don't think it should be legalized, but it should be decriminalized.
Perfect.
Next.
Family YouTube channels. I feel like you love.
No.
Really?
Okay, I don't hate them as much as some people hate them, but I don't know that I've ever seen one that I was like, this feels cool.
Oh, maybe I'm mixing you up with somebody who told me that they had like one specific one that they really like. And I thought it was you, but
Uh,
maybe not.
no,
I
it
don't
was not
watch them.
me.
There's nothing about that that
No,
calls to me.
I don't think there's any one that I've ever enjoyed.
There's like a whole debate to be had here about like kids on the internet because there's a couple of like kids that I follow, their accounts run by their parents on Instagram because they're just so heartwarming and sweet and it's like a feel good type of content moment in the day. But then there's a whole other side of it where people are like, well, this 7-year-old didn't just decide that they wanted to be on Instagram. Like their parents are pimping them out or whatever and you can't really know the truth of the matter and you hope that it's a kid who's expressed like interest in this stuff and performing and whatever. But yeah, I don't really know how I feel about it basically because there are certain kids who I like
Yeah.
rely on them for my mental health. Literally, there are a couple of these
Haha.
Instagram accounts that are so sweet and like I love them. And if I think too much about it, I feel very weird.
I think I have mixed opinions. I definitely have seen the accounts where I'm like, stop doing this to your child. This feels perverted and exploitative and whatever. And I've definitely, but then on the other hand, I also get annoyed at the people who are like, who go too hard on it sometimes. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
people go too hard on it. And I'm like, you're fucking annoying. Like, shut up. You can
Yeah.
show your kid once on the internet. Like, you fucking showed your kid on the, like, calm down. And I think it's just like, there's some like balance. Like what I also think is stupid is when there are these influencers who are like, allegedly committed to never showing their kid, but then they post a photo on their Instagram grid of just them and their baby, and there's an emoji over the baby's
Over the
face. And I'm
baby.
like, just don't post the photo then, you idiot.
Just
Or like
post a
they're
picture of
always
yourself.
like fine, make the content about you because you're the influencer and you've signed on and you've consented, but then just make the content about you. And like if your kid has an occasional cameo, fine, whatever, but like then stop doing this shit where it's just a picture of your baby with a fucking heart emoji. Also, that heart emoji thing that they put over the baby's faces is so fucking creepy and it looks like an evil Easter bunny. And like I'm like, just fucking calm down. If you're like, calm down. And I do think about this because like I'll probably have kids eventually and I'll probably still be doing YouTube. And I personally, I think it, I guess it probably depends on the kid. I think like a
Yeah.
parent can decide for themselves, like, hopefully whatever the fuck. But I feel like personally, I would continue to make YouTube lifestyle stuff that's about my life. And my life includes that I have a dad and I have a friend and I
Mhm.
have like a child, but they're not the main characters. And like you can be in a scene, and I'm not going to put a weird emoji on your face for a scene, but it's also going to be pretty infrequent. Like I
Yeah.
think it's fine. I think that's how I would do it. It's like your background, you're there. I'm not going to make it fucking weird by having you in everything, but also blurring your face and everything. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't fault someone if they want to do that or if they never want to show their kids, great. But when you're like continually posting about your kids, but then also blurring their faces, I'm like, to pick a lane. Like it doesn't actually seem like you're really trying to protect them. It seems like you're trying to like have your cake and eat it too. That's fucking annoying to me some for some reason.
Yeah. No, I have never thought about it that way, but I am immediately bought in. Yes, correct. That seems
Yeah,
right.
like if you
It's
want,
just
if
pick
they're
a lane
not the
is right.
point, then make, whatever.
Then they're not the point.
Also,
Then they don't need to be here. Yeah.
and then
I don't need to
sometimes
see
they're
their
like,
little legs, although their
yeah.
little legs are probably pretty cute.
there's definitely the content with kids where I'm like, this is so exploitative and like wrong, and you can definitely tell. But then there's also the kids who are so performative and they love it, and like making a vlog is part of hanging out with their parents, and like it's like, they're not
Mm-hmm.
fucking making a big deal of it the way that viewers are making a big deal of it.
Exactly.
And then there's the attitude of like, well, what if they don't like that's on the internet of them later? It's like, first of all, do you know how much of my childhood I didn't like later on? How many things I was embarrassed by and was like, that was embarrassing. Like, you didn't ask my permission for half this stuff. So I think this
Yes.
like there's like this weird like preciousness and preachiness just that like the internet has, because the internet loves to tell people what to do with their kids. And I do basically yes, I do agree that I think a lot of it's really exploitative and gross, and it grosses me out to like squeeze your kids for money for your influencing, and
Right.
I personally wouldn't do that. But I do think there's like a certain amount of the criticism that's just preachy and judgy and stupid and fucking stupid, and
Yeah.
you're annoying, and like, it's actually not illegal for your kid to sometimes be embarrassed.
Yeah. Or
That's
it's
my
not
take.
illegal. It's not illegal for your kid to like you will be making decisions for your kid, period. That is what being
Dog.
a parent of a child under 18 is literally all about. I was having this conversation, and not to make it to turn it into bigger topics, but just to like create a parallel really quick. I was having this
Yes, create a
conversation with
parallel.
I'll create a parallel universe for
Great.
you on your
I'm fading, so
shroomies.
wrap it up.
Okay. Well, I was just talking about this same thing with Ryan. We were talking about circumcision because I was listening to some podcast where it was really funny. There was like a brother,
Yes.
there were
No
two
one's
twin
asking
brothers.
fucking consent for their circumcision. That is a great point, Jess.
Well, yes, exactly. So one of the arguments against circumcision is like a kid cannot speak up for whether they want that or not. Yeah, guess what? A kid can't speak up with for so many things that they want or don't want. It's a fucking baby. They're raised in a certain religion, and they might decide later that they don't want to be a part of it. They're raised to their parents post pictures of them on Instagram, and they grow up later and see that some of them are embarrassing. They go to a certain type of school, and then later in life they're like, that really wasn't the best schooling for me. Sorry, that's
Totally.
just what
Totally.
it is. They are
That's just
not
what it
capable
is.
of that's just what it is. So anyway, yeah, I'll end it on this note about circumcision, which is that there was this podcast that I was listening to called
The
called
circumcision podcast.
it's called like oh fuck. It's the one with Jake Johnson from New Girl. It's his podcast. It's called We're Here to Help. And they had a recent episode where somebody called in for advice, and he was a guy who has a twin brother, and they're both in their 30s, and he just found out through their wives that his twin brother is not circumcised. However, he is circumcised.
That is fucked.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It's I
That's
can't stop thinking
crazy.
about
What
it.
was
I
the
would recommend
explanation?
the
What was the
episode.
explanation?
Well, he didn't have an explanation. He called into the podcast to ask for advice on like
Call your parents,
basically
bitch. You're calling the wrong person.
confirming whether that's true. Like, do I need to see my brother's dick to really confirm this? Like, maybe his wife doesn't know what circumcision looks like or whatever, because it came through the wives.
Oh my God, just ask him. You don't have
Or
to see
ask
the
him or
dick. Can't
ask
you
the
just ask
parents.
him?
Yeah, but
Wait,
it's a
what the
comedy
fuck?
podcast because it's a comedy.
Okay,
They did
okay.
a whole like improv thing
Okay.
about like, okay, let's reenact what it would be like to like go out with your brother and then get a glance at his dick. Like, let's talk through like how are you going to make that happen? It's very funny. I will link it in the description. Actually, it's so funny and I recommend the watch.
Okay.
So that's my hot tip for your week. Once you're done listening to this, go think about circumcision and look at
Yeah.
that
And
podcast. It's really
listen,
fun.
I think circumcision is a ridiculous, or not ridiculous, but like it's kind of a crazy topic. Like I all at once
Yeah.
feel like why the fuck would you do that? And also calm down, like whatever. But I feel like that's the TLDR probably about all of parenting, is like there's not a lot of clear-cut answers, and you have to figure it the fuck out what's right for you and your family, and like why is the internet weighing in all the time is just
Right.
annoying to me.
And like maybe just do the same thing to both of your kids about circumcision though.
No, that's insane. That's insane. Unless they were like, we just want to make sure that I mean, it's a fun way to fuck with your kids, I guess. Like, that's a
Yeah.
prank. That's a prank that took like 20 or 30 years
To come to fruition. Yeah.
to
Good
reveal.
for
Yeah,
them.
to come to a head.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
That was actually really good. Now we're done. Now I just
No,
needed you to stick it
we're
out until you got
done.
to that joke, and we're done.
I made a pun. I would never do this regularly.
Sober. Yeah.
Sober, I would never do that sober. Wrap us up, Jess.
Okay, this has been Not For Everyone. We're happy you're here and we're happy you're leaving now. You can find us on Instagram at not the number four everyone pod. Send us what to do's, send us hot takes, send us anything that you think and feel, and we will maybe talk about it
Mm,
here. And
mm.
leave us a review too, because there's been some cute reviews
Oh,
lately and we love them
we
to
had
death.
such a cute review. Okay, next time we're gonna read a review because we got such a cute fucking review
Yeah, we
on Apple
did. Go read
Podcasts.
them and go leave one,
Oh,
and we might read it
I,
here.
I will say this: I obsessively check the Apple Podcast reviews because they actually make my day when I'm having a hard day. Yep.
Me too, but sometimes I have to be like, okay, am I going to check the reviews right now in case there's a bad one? Which has happened very rarely, but there's a couple that like are day ruiners.
Yeah.
So I have to check in with myself. Like, am I prepared if when I scroll down, I see something I don't like? But usually there's something I do.
Yeah.
Like, go pad them with things I
Yeah,
do
go
want to
pad
read.
them.
Pad
Give Jess a
them.
nice review. Give Jess a nice review.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Okay.
love you, Jessica.
Love you, Caroline. Kisses to
Kisses
and
to
fro.
you.
Bye.